Hello! So as some of you may know, I am moving locations at the end of the school year. I'm moving in June, still have no idea where. That is TBD. I'm hoping to have some actual answers to where to next. Hopefully by mid-January. I'm hoping, but I still don't know where. However, what that does mean is that come June 2025, I will have to pack my entire makeup collection. I will have to move everything, quite possibly through a really long distance. So I really have to be conscious this year of what stays, what goes, what gets priority in terms of use, and what makes sense in my collection moving forward. As part of that process, I put together a group of makeup items that I have deemed to be on what I'm calling the retirement tour, meaning those are makeup items that are currently in my collection. I am using them in some cases in more focused manners than others, but they will be decluttered from my collection by the end of June if I don't finish them. If I finish them, awesome. But if I don't finish them, they'll be gone in June regardless. After the last couple of months have gone by, I have, looked at yet another small group of makeup items that I have decided that they will follow the same fate. I will continue to use them where it makes sense in the next few months. If I finish them, I finish them, but if I don't finish them, I will be decluttering them in June. So this is the second lineup of the retirement tour. Welcome if you've never been here before. My name is Jo and I like to have fun with makeup. I love to play with makeup. I love to buy makeup, but I mainly focus on trying to make sure that I'm using what I have in the most creative ways possible and using my makeup collection with as much intention as possible. So if that sounds good to you, please consider subscribing. We do have a lot of fun over here. And let's get into the second round of the retirement tour. For the record, if you have not seen the first video of the retirement tour and you want to know what was the first selection of things that are on their way out of my collection, make sure to check the video up here in the cards, and I'll also link it in the description box. Before I show you any of these items, I just want to note that everything that is available and that I remember to link, because I might not remember to link everything, will be linked in the description box. Shop responsibly. Check out sales, take advantage of sales. This is the season of sales. So if you're gonna buy something and you can find a sale, use the sale, save yourself some money. Come on, shop responsibly. But some of the links that I put in the description box are gonna be affiliate links. So if you do use them, I might earn a small commission from your purchase. If you do use those links, which you absolutely don't have to, thank you. I appreciate you. Let's get into these items that are now staring at the abyss in my makeup collection and will not make it past June 2025. Let's get going. So I have one of my units from my Refer modular vanity unit. I have the whole set. I actually kind of wish that I would have bought a second one, and maybe wherever I go next, I might end up buying another set of the modular vanity set if it's available from Refer, because it does provide quite a bit of space and allows you to kind of organize things in really nice clusters. So I've enjoyed it. I bought it at launch. When was that launch? 2.5 years ago? 3 years ago? Ooh, I don't remember. But I bought it at launch and it's proven to be really durable and really functional. So that's where this little basket came from. So I just decided to put some items here. There's, I would say, a little bit of everything here. Some items are definite. They will be retired, decluttered in June if they're not finished. Others, I have a little twinge in my heart and I'm not sure if they're gonna be decluttered. Some are definite, some are maybes, but I'll make sure to let you know. I think the maybes are the least number of them. So let's start with the maybes actually. We have 1, 2, 3 items in that maybe pile, selection, group, whatever you wanna call it. Interestingly, 2 are eyeliners, and here they are. One is the Kulfi Underlined Kajal eyeliner in the shade Chiqui Chico. I got this in the spring, this past spring, in a Sephora favorite set. And this is like, it's a brown, it's a dark brown. Here's the reason why I think I'm gonna retire this in June. This is how much I have left. I just feel like this doesn't work super well with thick eyeshadow. It doesn't really show that much pigment on my top eyeline, although I'm wearing it today, incidentally. But sometimes when the eyeshadow is kind of thick, it doesn't really show that much, and I like my eyeliner to show because I wear glasses and I want the eyeliner to be visible through my glasses because my glasses don't have like the anti-glare lenses and stuff. And then on the bottom lash, on the waterline, sometimes this doesn't show enough pigment, and I have a rather sensitive waterline. So it's just not as consistent as other formulas that I have, and I don't always get the color payoff that I get with other formulas. Also, it is not as smudge proof is the word that I'm looking for. It's not as smudge proof as other formulas that I own. Like Natasha Denona is like the smudge proof of the smudge proof eyeliners. So I want to buy more shades in the Natasha Denona product line. Urban Decay is pretty smudge proof. And Victoria Beckham is pretty smudge proof. Those are my top 3 formulas in eyeliners. So I think that this one is good, and I'm not opposed to trying other shades of the eyeliner or even of the other products from the Kulfi product line. But this one hasn't been my favorite. It's left me with strong mixed feelings. However, I will continue to use it. Again, I think it's not unrealistic to think that I might actually finish this by June. But if I don't, there will be very, very little left. And given that it's not a favorite formula, I just don't feel as compelled to take it. Next up, and this is again in the maybe pile, I think I might have given the impression that the Kulfi is now a definite retirement. Is it? Oh my God. Yeah, I think it is. I think the Kulfi is going to be a definite retirement in June. This one is, however, a maybe, strongly leaning to retirement because this item is old as balls. This is so old. It's bad. It's bad, y'all. And it is Haus Labs eyeliner in the shade Hunted. But the thing is that this is the Amazon Haus Labs. This is from the time that the Haus Labs product line was an Amazon exclusive. There it is. It's like a forest green. So number one, it's old, and I bought it when Haus Labs was being phased out of Amazon before they did their reformulation, their rebrand to go to Sephora. And number two, it's starting to dry down a bit. I did use it yesterday, and it works well, and you get good color payoff, but see, it's not as resistant to smudging anymore. And it's starting to dry down a bit. So your pigmentation is not the most uniform all of the time. Most importantly though, it is quite old, and with my eyes being as sensitive as they are, I just think that it's probably a good idea for me to replace it. I've already eyed a shade that is almost identical to this one among the Natasha Denona Macrotech eye crayons, and I love that formula because it's super smudge proof and super pigmented. I have a burgundy on that one. So I think that I'll keep using it from time to time between now and June, and then I'll probably replace it wherever I go next and just get another forest green eyeliner. That one, I just, it goes in your eyes. It's probably not a good idea to keep it for a really long time, and it's already drying down as it is, not as resistant. So a lot of compelling points to retire it. The last item that is on the maybe section is this Nude Sticks Nudies Matte all over face blush color in Picante. I feel like this was really popular like around like 2018, 2019. It's a really pretty color. There it is. Kind of like a orangey terracotta. Very, very pretty color. Let me just show you how much I have left. Quite a bit. These nude sticks have a lot of product. I've had this one probably since, I don't know, maybe late 2021 or so. I've had it for a while and it works perfectly. Here's the reason why I'm considering retiring it. I have come to the conclusion that I prefer my cream blush and blush stick formulas a little less sticky and a little less balmy than this one. This one, it never entirely dries down. It remains kind of sticky all the way through. So I don't know, it's led me to use it less and less over time. So I'm wondering if maybe I should just find a similar color in a formula that I prefer, because even there, where it's like smudged, it's still somewhat sticky. So it's led me to just not use it as much as I used to. But you know, I might change my mind after the spring, because I do use it in the spring quite a bit. So it's a maybe for now, but the goal is to use as much of it as I can in the next few months. But I do think that it is a very, very strong candidate to be retired in June and then just replaced with another formula. I am currently in love with, as far as stick formulas go, I am in love with KJH brand right now. I just bought this a couple of weeks ago. This is the Soft Smudge Lip and Cheek in Soft Raisin. So I would actually love to find out if KJH has a formula, has a shade similar to Nude Sticks Picante to replace it with. Let me just show you Soft Raisin so that you can see what it looks like. That's such a pretty nude brown. I love it. I love it. I will have like a dedicated brand review video later on KJH brand, but I am very, very impressed, and the brand is like strongly on my radar now. And this is, see, it's not balmy at all. It does smudge, but it is not balmy at all, which I just prefer a less sticky formula these days. So I would like to maybe find a blush stick that is a similar color to Picante, but just less sticky and less balmy. So let's go over these 3 items just to recap on these maybes. This is a maybe but very strong possibility that this will be retired in June. Maybe, but also I would say 9 out of 10 possibility that this will be retired in June. And this is a definite. If I don't finish it, I will declutter it in June, just because it doesn't always work well in my waterline. I don't always get color payoff, and I just prefer other formulas. Now, everything else that I show you from now on is a yes, these will be retired in June if I don't finish them before that. So let's get going. First off, we have these 2 Retail Defy concealers. This is the Lab Access release. This product has been now launched as the Sorcerer Serum Concealer. So I got it for like, you know, the Lab Access releases that the brand does to like get feedback from customers and that sort of thing. I have shades 160 and 170. Let me see if I can find like a corner of my hand where I can show you the shades. So it was kind of tricky to figure out what shades would be best for me online. So I just went with 2 shades that are like tan with neutral undertones, which is kind of what works best for me most of the time. So 160 on top, 170 on bottom. 170 is definitely too dark for me as a concealer that will actually brighten my under eyes, which is what I want in a concealer most of the time. 160 is fine. So I have used quite a bit of 160. I use it rather often. 170 I don't use as often because I'm not gonna lie, the whole concept of using concealer as foundation, in theory, it sounds amazing. In practice, I almost never remember to do it. I'm gonna try to take this maybe and use it as concealer as foundation, maybe on my New Year's little vacation. Maybe I'll try to use it a little bit more, but again, it's just not the right shade for me as a concealer, and I'm not as adventurous with using concealer as foundation. 160 is fine. The other thing that I need to point out, and I'm glad that they address this in packaging because the packaging is not like this, is that the packaging has torn, I don't know if you can see it there, but it's like there's a crack there and it leaks all over the place. They both leak. So I wouldn't want to keep those around and put them in like a pressurized container with the rest of my makeup and just have them leak all over the place. So those will get used to the best of my ability until June, but they will be retired when I leave. And then I also have another concealer here. No hate towards this one because it's my favorite concealer for now. I would like to find a new favorite concealer next year. That's one of my intentions for next year. I would like to find a concealer to rival the Hourglass Vanish Airbrush Concealer. I've used quite a bit of this. See, window, window, more window, window. So I don't actually know that this is something that will necessarily be retired. I actually think I'll use it up by the end of the academic year. But if I don't, I will replace it because, you know, I've had it open for a while. I would actually maybe like revisit my shade. This is the shade Flax. I've also used Dune, and I actually think that Dune is a better shade for me. This one I feel like is a little too close to my skin tone to really brighten. It's a little peachier than the Rachel Diffie ones right there. Actually, it's maybe more yellow. Definitely brighter than the Rachel Diffie. See the difference? Like, this is kind of the shade that I want in a concealer, but I could go maybe a smidge lighter. I wouldn't mind that. This is my favorite formula of concealers, my favorite concealer of all time for now. I have my eye on the House Labs concealer and on the Natasha Denona concealer for next year. I also have my eye on the Dior and the Givenchy, which I've been saying that I want to try for a while now, and I haven't. But I will have finished quite a few concealers in the next few months, and will be retiring at least these 3 in June. So there will definitely be space for me to be trying new concealers, at least in the fall or probably starting in the summer. But the Hourglass concealer is also going to be retired. Let's keep going with cheek products. I have 3 blushes here. Let's go with these first 2 because they're kind of in the same family, and they are my Melt Cosmetics blush lights. I have 2. I bought these together a couple of years ago. I have Sandy Cheeks, where you can see the start of the pan, and then Pink Sand, which has quite a very visible pan over here, quite expansive pan. Sandy Cheeks, we're getting there. The pan is there. I just haven't quite hit super visible pan. But as you can see, these are 2 cream blushes that I use quite frequently. So I think that is reasonable to think that I will actually finish Pink Sand by June, and Sandy Cheeks will probably be very, very, very close. Same issue with this that I'm finding with the Nude Sticks formula. These are very balmy and they stay kind of sticky and wet on your cheek, and that's not my favorite look for longevity at the moment. If I'm not worried about longevity, those work just fine. Like weekend makeup, absolutely not a problem. And of course, if you set them with powder, the longevity improves, but you do have kind of like that feeling of that balminess there rather constantly, and that's just not my favorite anymore. So I will use as much as I can from these, and then they will be retired in June. Pink Sand is not gonna be replaced with anything because I have other pink cream blushes on rotation that I would like to finish. Sandy Cheeks does need to be replaced because I don't have a comparable shade in my collection. I don't know what I'm gonna replace it with. Maybe Danessa Myricks. Sorry, I'm trying to find a corner of my hand for swatches. Okay, let me just show you. That's Sandy Cheeks. It's such a nice shade, right? It's like a perfect blush shade for like the warm neutral looks. And then Pink Sand, oh, so balmy that you actually need to swatch these heavily for the swatch to show, but it's also a really pale pink, so that doesn't help. There's Pink Sand and there's Sandy Cheeks. It just needs to be a less balmy formula for my preferences at the moment. Nothing wrong with the formula itself. They are very, very nice. Strongly responsible for like my love for cream blush, because these were some of the first ones that I got a few years ago, but I just want something that is like a little less watery and balmy. Just not my strongest preference at the moment. And then the last blush that I have is this Nude Sticks, what is this called? It's like Intense Lip and Cheek Pencil. This is the shade Belle. Little corner of my hand, more of a dusty rose. It's a really lovely shade, and this one has great longevity, but as you can see, getting to that place where I think I should be able to finish this either by the spring or by June. Whatever's left of this little knob will just be retired, will be discarded when I'm packing my makeup up, because as you can see, I've used quite a bit of it. And yeah, it's reasonable for me to think that I will finish that up by June. So that's on its way to retirement. Then I also have this eyeliner from Physicians Formula. It is the Eye Booster Ultra Fine Liquid Eyeliner, and the shade is Deep Brown. Here's the thing. It's one of those liquid eyeliners, there's the swatch, that took like 4 or 5 passes to build. It's not very pigmented. So that doesn't help already because this means I can feel the wetness of it in my hand still. It doesn't dry down fast enough for my preferences. That's the first thing. The second thing, as I mentioned, the pigmentation, it takes quite a few passes to build up. And then the third thing is that if you try to put this on top of eyeshadow, you're gonna have a hard time. It doesn't show. It just doesn't show on top of eyeshadow. And if I'm gonna use a liquid eyeliner, I want it to show on top of my eyeshadow because that's the whole point. I regret buying this, and when I bought this, not gonna lie, I was being a cheapskate. I bought this because I didn't want to pay for Fenty at the time. Fenty has a deep brown eyeliner, liquid eyeliner, and Fenty is my favorite liquid eyeliner of all time. I should have just bought the Fenty. If I would have bought the Fenty, we wouldn't be in this position. I recognize that. This is one of those situations where going cheaper didn't really work on my favor. Other than Fenty, are there any other liquid eyeliners that I should try? I have a black Pat McGrath liquid eyeliner, which is great. It's great. I still like Fenty better, but are there other liquid eyeliners that I should check out? I'm not like the most adventurous person with liquid eyeliners, but I would like to try more, and I would like to try like other colors. Are there any that I should be looking at? I know that NYX makes good liquid eyeliners, but are there any others? Tell me in the comments. A curious girl wants to know. We have one lip product here. Again, it's more a matter of nominally putting it on. Yes, I will discard it in June, but I actually expect to finish this, and it's a Lethal Cosmetics gloss in Nexus. I don't think that Lethal makes this formula anymore. I really like it because to me, this feels like a hybrid between a lip gloss and a lip oil. And I've spoken about this before. You can see my thoughts on this formula on my lip oil formula review. That video is up here on my channel. It is so light, but it really does feel, there it is, there's the swatch. Oh, there it is. It really does feel like an oil, like the texture of it, the slippiness of it, to me, is more a lip oil than a lip gloss. It is very shiny. See, it is quite shiny, but to me, it feels more like a lip oil. I love to wear this with my mauve lipsticks, and I've used quite a bit of it. I don't know if you'll be able to see some of the window down there. I don't really know how much there's left of this, but I've had it for at least 2 years. I really like it, and yeah, so it's really like down here. I wish you could see, but I'm not sure that you can. So I've definitely used at least 2/3 of this, and I think it's reasonable to think that I'll finish it by June because this is my go-to topper for purple mauve lipsticks. I love that one. I love that one. I feel like Lethal is not super up to speed in restocking their lip formulas. Like last couple of times that I've been on the website to try to like find stuff, I haven't been able to find many lip products, but it is a brand that I enjoy a lot in terms of lip formula, and I want to try more. So I'm definitely open to like replacing that with a similar formula also from Lethal. I want them to make more lip glosses. Lethal, please make more lip glosses. Thank you. I appreciate it. Last but not least, I'm actually missing one from here. I have my little 5 Rituel de Fille sample eyeshadows that I got last fall. Yeah, I have 5 shades here: Flora, Love Spell, Cultist, Serpent de Mer, and Mineralia. I actually used Mineralia yesterday. You can see that look on my Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, you should, at Joe Sparkly. You can see like how I use my eyeshadow palettes every day, especially because I'm doing like focus projects and theme projects. So I like to show kind of like how I combine very different eyeshadows sometimes with each other, how I use more colorful makeup with like a more neutral eyeshadow palette or neutral eyeshadow shade range, etc. So yeah, it's a good time over there. I'm just quickly swatching some of these eyeshadows from Rituel de Fille. They are perfect one and done shadows, and I would definitely want to try more shades. They are, I don't know that I could call these cream eyeshadows. I don't think they're creams. Maybe cream to powder would be a better way to describe them. But you know, they're on these little pots. I've actually hit pan on all of them inside these little pots. So, I mean, they're just like these little things that I just don't think is worth dragging through wherever in the world it is that I'm gonna end up. I have no idea. So I'll use what I use and then I'll discard the rest. I usually keep these as like guest eyeshadows, weekend eyeshadows. So I don't necessarily have them included in a project, although I had them in my August project. So I'll just use what I can use. So from top to bottom, Serpent de Mer, Flora, Love Spell, and Cultist. I'm missing Mineralia, which is a chocolate brown, but I love it. I would repurchase these in the future, and I think that these samples are a great way to try eyeshadow, and really any other of the Ritual Free products. They do sell, I think, the majority of their product line on samples, which I think is great. But it's a matter of like making sense of the logistics, like having those tiny bits and bobs, you know, kind of rolling around in a suitcase or in a box. It just doesn't make sense. So I'll make sure to use as much as I can of those in June, until June, and then they will be decluttered. And there you have it. A couple more items in the retirement tour, but again, it shows that I definitely am thinking about not only the future, but ensuring that even if I'm planning to declutter products in my collection, that I find a space for them to be used with intention over the next couple of months and even possibly finishing them. What about you? Do you have any products that have a little bit of a countdown date in your collection? Are you in a similar situation where you have a big shift or change coming up where you have to kind of analyze whether some things are, you know, approaching their use by date in your collection? If so, I would love to hear from you. And if you have tips on packing makeup for a long haul move, please tell me, because I'm already freaking out. I'm already freaking out. And I mean, in an ideal world, I'm gonna pack my makeup, or most of it, from here to wherever it is that I'm moving. Like, I don't wanna drag everything to the US and then from the US somewhere else. So if you have any experience on packing your makeup, like with a moving company or putting it in a shipment or anything like that, please, 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 please let me know. Please let me know in the comments, because I'm already kind of stressed about it. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like, can I buy insurance with my shipment for my makeup? Like, is there anything I can do to keep it safe and protected? Because I'm a little afraid. Not gonna lie, I'm a little afraid about that one. But I hope that you enjoyed the video, and hopefully it got you thinking about how you're using your makeup, what's making sense at the moment, what are you most focused on and enjoying the most, and whether phasing a product out of your collection is a matter of changing makeup preferences, because that is a big factor in some of the products that I've decided to phase out in this second round of the retirement tour. Thank you for joining me in my adventures with makeup here on YouTube and on Instagram. If you are on both, I would love to get to 150 subscribers by the end of the year. If you are so keen to join me over here a little more permanently, please consider subscribing and liking this video so that YouTube can show it to other people that could enjoy it. I hope that you are having a wonderful day wherever you are, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.